I am your researcher for this channel, Underdog Researcher. Today is the recap of the Billionaire Blueprint. I'm going to be walking through that project with you to build up for my new release this week, where I'll be talking about MetaPath. And before I did that, I decided that I'm going to go through all the research I have on Swift Coin and Swift blockchain so that you can see the connections. And if you haven't done so already, folks, go back to the previous video, watch it. There's so much information there for you. But if you have done that, then refresh your memory. If you want your projects to be successful, one thing you can do that costs you nothing is to share. Share with your friends, share with your family, share this on your social medias, because maybe, just maybe, the power community can make this go all the way to the top. Now, if you haven't done so already, and you want to get exclusive videos from the Underdog Research, then make sure you go to the links in the description of this video, join the Telegram, join the Metaverse space, and with that being said, let's get started. Now, I'll be referring to some of my notes throughout this conversation because there was a lot I gave you, but let's talk about the Billionaire Blueprint. A few weeks ago, I released a video and was research that no one else had discussed called the Billionaire Blueprint. Now, in that research, there was a lot of information, and I didn't want to overwhelm you, so I broke it down into two parts. But in order for you to really grasp this project technology, this company that called Swift, then you got to understand the players in this game. Now, I learned something during my research on the patent and trademarks. I saw something very interesting. I saw a name. And that name, I told you in the last video, if you don't learn that name, then you don't know anything about this project. It wasn't on CoinMarketCap. It wasn't on CoinGecko. It was there, though, in the weeds of this project, and that name was John Shin. Now, I call John Shin the Moses of SwiftCoin, and by the end of this conversation, you'll see why I dedicated a whole video about this person. But who is John Shin? Well, during the course of my research, I noticed that there was a company. And as I told you last time, the company associated with this project is called GooCoin, Goocoin. But I noticed that while I was looking at the research and patents, that I saw another name in the same city, and it was with the same company name, and it was called GooCoin, and it was a LLC. And that company was opened in 2017. But the one we know about, Ramble Land's GooCoin, was opened in 2016. But why would two companies share the same name? One was an LLC, Limited Liability Corporation, that was John Shin's in 2017. And the first was a corporation, GooCoin Incorporated by Ramble Land. Now, was that a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. So I looked deep into this, and I wanted to find out a lot more about John Shin. And what did I find out? Well, let's talk about that. So John Shin, I looked up and I showed you that he was a big deal. John Shin was in a particular space called American Lending Company. Also, he was in a space called Sunstone, the CEO. But he was also in a space where it was associated with EB5, and that was a visa that allowed professionals to find a way to American citizenship through innovation and technology. Now, why does that matter about this project? What does that have to do with anything with SwiftCoin? Well, I'm going to tell you why. What I found during the course of this research was John Shin wasn't just a regular person. No. John Shin was essential for SwiftCoin. See, during the time frame from 2017 until the time frame that it was 2022 during COVID, SwiftCoin was going through some changes. They were not making that much money. As you're already aware, they've been in this low volume for over 6 years. Now, during that time frame, they had to make a decision. And by what I look at what John Shin does, I think what he wants to do is to give capital to companies would have people just like himself who are from China and other minority businesses. And I believe that John Shin did that for SwiftCoin. He talks about it in his book and he talks about it in his business. One of the things that John Shin does is give foreign investment funding to venture capital businesses, just like SwiftCoin. Ramble Land's from China, John Shin's from China. They have the same company name. And at that time, they had this connection. But why did that matter? Well, let me tell you why. Now, as I went through and I looked through this, the Department of Homeland Security, you need to know, had a way for companies who were from another place, or people, I should say, who wanted to be a part of the American dream to find a way to get there through a process called the EB-5 investments. Now, that's another way of saying a foreign visa allowing people to come to the United States to find citizenship. But there was a cost to that. In order to be a part of this, if you was a company, you had to invest at least $800,000 in American business, and you must employ 10 American jobs by creating them. So John Shin saw this as an opportunity, and SwiftCoin did too. I believe, based on what we saw, that EB-5 investment was exactly how Ramble Land went from Singapore, China, to the United States and utilized the company, which was SwiftCoin, Swift blockchain, as a means in which to get his immigration here. And by doing so, bringing in 10 American jobs. That's what I believe based on what we saw. Now, as we look through this findings, I found out a lot of information. Let me tell you about some things I found. I found that John Shin was at a place called the World Trade Center in LA. And that organization that he was at, the building, is for foreign investments. That's what he did. And I found that he did commercial lending to minority businesses. Now, that is important because instead of the company going out of business because they wasn't making that much money, John Shin has lent hundreds of loans since the time he initiated this business up until 2022. He's found unique ways to give individual companies, just like SwiftCoin, financing to help them get through the hard times. But by doing so, they structure it in a way that the company can pay back the money they receive and at the same time keep their doors open. Now, isn't that a wonderful thing? Now, what did we find out? John Shin, if you go to California, is a big deal. In Long Beach, California, he got the approval of Long Beach for a thing called the Long Beach Accelerator. This is a idea that came to fruition to accelerate advancement of technology in Long Beach, California, and thereby not only bringing in more revenue, but more talent in that space. And that was approved by the mayor of Long Beach. And you can look that up, and that's a big deal. He also started to lock down and has gotten approval for the Irvine, California Accelerator. And that's what's ongoing right now and doing the exact same thing. And this is bringing technology and opportunities to businesses and the blockchain and other innovation into California. And why does that matter? Because California has one of the largest economies in the world. I'm not talking about the United States, folks. California has one of the largest economies in the world. And he has found a way to branch that connection between foreign business investments into the United States using the EB-5 process approved by Congress in 1990s. And that is what he's using. Now, looking at that, that's important. In order to make SwiftCoin do well, you got to have solid foundations, solid business principles, good guidance, and sound principles. We heard that through Catherine Young at Fidelity. And as we look at that, we have to consider what SwiftCoin had to do. They had to make a decision during this time period where crypto wasn't that big deal back in 2017 until present. They had to make sound business principles and enter John Shin. Through his connections, he brought people together to keep this company afloat. But guess what I found out? I looked at a thing called the Bitcoin Forum in 2017. And at the time, I didn't know what other connections there were with John Shin. But what I learned was that on the original white paper for Swift Coin, there it was. It wasn't just a coincidence. John Shin is also an original member of the Swift Coin team. He is on there. So it wasn't a coincidence that his name was on the Secretary of State for GooCoin. It wasn't a coincidence that he invests in venture capital companies with minority businesses, especially from China and other foreign directed businesses. It was a direct connection that John Shin was on the white paper for Swift Coin, and he was actively making sure that Swift Coin is successful. That's why I call him the Moses of Swift Coin. Now, here's the thing that you need to know that I brought to you in that video on Billionaire Blueprint Part 1. SwiftCoin is an AI technology utilized for trading cross-border currencies, cryptocurrencies, and other fiat currencies. This was thought about back in 2017, but on November the 20th of 2023, President Biden did something that's very important. President Biden made an executive order so that individuals in the space of artificial intelligence who want to bring their talent from foreign companies or foreign talent to the United States can have a fast track to citizenship if they're in the AI field. And that's exactly the field that SwiftCoin is in. So you don't only have the congressional 1990s EB5 process, you have a presidential order that helps to have the proper regulations and laws necessary to make this go big. Now, I told you that, and you learned that through the Billionaire Blueprint, but there was still more. Now, what you also need to know is, do you remember this date? If you don't remember this date, then you don't know your Swift Coin history. March 5th, 2024. I'll wait. I can't wait no more, folks. March 5th, 2024. Something happened historically for this project. If you don't share this part of the video, let me stop right there. This is going to be a shareable moment. Share this part of the video with everyone. Because on March 5th of 2024, if you don't remember this date, then you don't know your history of this project. The largest volume of sales for the Swift Coin project happened on that date. $111 million in a 24-hour period flowed through Swift Coin. But why? This project was talked about by me when it was 20% of a penny. It has doubled and then doubled again since that time. What made it go up? You don't know, huh? You don't know. Well, let's talk about this as a coincidence. On the same day and time that Swift Coin received the largest volume of sales in the history, go check it out on CoinMarketCap yourself. On the history of this project in 6 years, John Shin was holding a 3K run event for individuals who would like to invest in his dream and his thing that he is doing with this company. Now, he talks about the investment. All these investors participated in a 3K run, and it was an opportunity like a timeshare where he was able to talk to them about foreign investment into companies just like SwiftCoin. Is it a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. Now, just recently, there was another influx of money. And this is a new update. I didn't tell you about this because it hadn't happened yet. Recently, there was another influx of money. And wouldn't you know it, it was in the same time period that John Shin was holding another event. And it was one of his book signing events where he has foreign investors talking about his way to the United States from China and his path to becoming a multi-millionaire and how he uses the foreign investments in the United States. Coincidence again for Swift Coin that the same day, within the same time this happened? I think not. And then there's a little bit more. Now, I brought you through on this particular billionaire blueprint, Catherine Young, and I reminded you that Catherine Young talked about from Fidelity, who has the China focus, about what's to come. Now, would it surprise you to know that John Shin is also the CEO of American Lending Center, and they provide a direct connection with EB5, and they are going to be going to Shanghai, China, to places in California and other Asian and American markets, and they're going to be promoting foreign business investments into American companies. And I don't know about you, but if I was him, wouldn't it make sense to make sure that if you are a part of this team, that you're helping others to find ways to get the foreign investment to the United States? And wouldn't cross-border payments be a great way to do that if it's something that you're already on? So you need to know the dates. So on my previous video, I gave you significant dates that you need to go look at, and also go to EB5 Investments and see where they're going, where they're going to be pitching, as it says, these foreign investments, because these may have a correlation to future price action, which corresponds with Catherine Young from Fidelity, where they said that there's going to be an increase in China focus in the economy. That was the conversation on part one of the Billionaire Blueprint. But that wasn't the end of the conversation, was it? What we learned was there was more. Now that Underdog Research Channel had focused in on the Moses of Swift Coin and had found out there was connection through the investments, I found another clue that will blow your mind. And for many of you, it did. How many of you knew about John Shin? How many of you knew about the Moses of Swift Coin? Well, I shared it in the part two, the Billionaire Blueprint, exactly the other multi-billionaires who were directly invested in Swift Coin, and also some indirect connections that are associated with this project. That is what we talked about. So if you haven't watched the Billionaire Blueprint, part one of part two, then go back to my channel and make sure you do. And if you want to learn about my upcoming videos that I'll be talking about, then you need to be a part of this community. Go to the link in the description of this video, join the Telegram, then follow my instructions, join the Underdog Metaverse channel. I will be putting exclusive videos in the Metaverse, and it will not be on this platform. So you got to get in coming for this project and other connections you must know. Now, folks, that's all I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed this recap of what we talked about. And I need you to do something for me. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to go to the Third Eye. The Third Eye channel is a collaboration I'm doing with Indigo Saint. It is a startups channel, very small, and I need you to go there because I'll be having exclusive content on his YouTube videos as well. And I want you to be a part of that conversation, the Third Eye. And also, folks, take as much time as those community coins do with meme coins and share this recap and the other videos. You want your investment to do something, then you must take action and be just as excited. I can't tell you if it's going to go all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom tomorrow. What I can do is provide you sound research without the hype, but it's up to you to take part of your own story by sharing to the people that you want to know about this opportunity. Now, that's all I have, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, this has been the Underdog Research Channel. Thank you and have a good evening.